Greetings, Helldivers! It's time once more to expend your free time fiending for tier lists, and what better way to do so than learning about the various enemies of humanity. Loyalist or dissident, you will meet these hostiles in the crucible of combat, and you'd best be ready when the time comes. Our bottom tier is sample farming, representing enemies that can be safely ignored and aren't much of a threat at all. You could literally farm samples with them around. Next up is assaying. Those enemies could be taken or left, depending on the situation, but in the words of a very wise human being, they look different to me, so they just gotta die. In the next category, we have the stock standard enemies of freedom and true freedom. The big scary guys that get in all the propaganda and convince you to throw your life away for the Federation, those are the guys. And coming in as our serious threats is the my leg tier. These are the enemies that constantly annoy, harass, and injure even the most seasoned of divers. Keep a special eye on these ones. Finally, as our pinnacle of difficulty, is the Helldive tier. These enemies live up to the designation and cause a group of Helldivers to drop what they're doing to deal with them, whether that be running away or setting up a specific counter. They are the ones who put heroes in the ground. And remember, if you disagree with any of my listings, simply cite that I am a Chaos Diver, and you can feel free to disagree. No democracy officer will come for you. In fact, they might actually help you. But rest assured, you and your tyranny-touting sidekick will be directed to the nearest airlock. Starting with the Terminids, we have the cutest little guy the galaxy has ever seen. First time I ever saw these guys, I actually didn't shoot them because all they were doing was staring adorably in my direction. We parted amiably, and I likely killed them later once I realized they had a taste for human flesh, but that doesn't diminish the appreciation I have for the little grub. Scavs will go down in 1 or 2 shots from pretty much anything, and are only inconvenient in hordes. I also like how their blood pops out of their bodies and splatters the ground. Sample farming tier, with affection. Pouncers are like toddlers who just learned how to run. Clumsy, awkward, and just like a toddler, easy to kill. They mindlessly gun straight for you, pounce, and maybe they don't overshoot you and actually land a hit with their butter knife claws. They get sample farming tier, but because they can be a sizable inconvenience in large numbers, they're above the scavs by a fair margin. Hunters. These vile dregs of E710 are the worst enemies to deal with on the bug front. Brains, damage, long-range pouncing, ambush tactics, large numbers. These ants can eat the barrel of my Holt shotgun with extreme hatred. Learn to play around their speed and watch your back, or you won't have a back anymore. Low my leg tier. The warrior. They are boring. You shoot them and they take a few bullets and then they die. If you get close to them, they eat your face, or at least they try. Props to them for being the face of Terminid mediocrity. They should jump in the oil barrel already. Freedom's enemy tier. Hive Guard. When a Hive Guard is born, they're told their only function is to be a wall, and it shows. I have seen some people argue that its armor makes it more dangerous than a warrior, but I disagree. If you have a medium pen weapon, all they do is let you shoot them until they die, and that armor makes it harder for them to actually catch you. And let's say you don't have an armor-piercing weapon. You just aim for the back, right? Wrong. You don't even need to do that. You can just aim for the obvious gaps in its armor in the front and take it out that way. The Hive Guard is a sniveling coward who fails its life's purpose. And it's just gotta die. Nursing Spewers. You can tell that the Nursing Spewer isn't actually meant for a combat, but more a caretaker role, hence the name. They're fairly tanky and can vomit Freedom Bell all over you and melt your bones while trying to obscure other bugs with a spore cloud that doesn't do much because all bug divers are used to playing blind anyways. Put enough bullets into this thing and it will pop like a balloon, but its acid spew cements it as Freedom's enemy. Bile Spewers are the Nursing Spewer's big brother, exchanging the spore support role for an artillery line. One of these is bad enough, but get a whole hillside of them firing at you and it makes dealing with the hordes all the worse. Get to them and you have to deal with increased armor and aggression. Ultimately they pop the same as Nursing Spewers, but the slowing acid effect and exceptional ranged attacks put these guys in my leg tier. Bile Spitters. Bile Spitters are hilarious. You step on them, they explode like a fruit gusher, and everyone smiles because they tried their hardest. Sample farming tier. For rooting my boots and making me smell like a stomach every freedom-forsaking mission. Ah, Vulture's favorite meal on 4 legs. The Charger charges and will absolutely demolish you if it hits you. They may be the staple filter of the Terminids, but the anti-tank of any self-respecting diver will put them in the ground exceptionally fast. Even so, they are a true enemy of freedom. This includes all Charger variants, by the way, since it's usually just more Charger in your Charger and the strategies remain the same. Alpha warriors, faster, stronger, smarter. You're not dealing with the average Terminid warrior anymore. They aren't so bad as to get a higher placing than their boring warrior cousins, but I need to place them as freedom's enemy before talking about the Brood Commander. The generals of the bugs. These guys are big, tanky, and fast while able to summon warrior reinforcements. Shoot them as fast as you can, or you'll have a pretty big bug breach on your hands. They're pretty smart too, which is why I like popping their heads and watching them bleed out as they try in vain to run me down. Due to their role and size, they get a hearty my leg tier. But their cousins, the Alpha Guard, are a slightly different story. Push deep into Terminid territory and you'll find the scum that orchestrate the destruction of humanity. Even though they are similar in role to the Brood Commander, these guys are better in every way and show up more frequently. When they do, they summon Alpha Warriors in huge packs and keep screeching to remind you they just called the Nid Special Forces on your ass. When shot, they have a tendency to run away, which in this case is a purely tactical move. It keeps them much harder to kill and keeps the bug breach going so long you may as well run away yourself. These instruments of savage destruction top the list in the Helldive tier. Shriekers, masters of the sky. Inevitably, these flyers are very easy to shoot and kill, but they love company and can dish out damage with the best of them. If you laugh at the Shriekers, try facing 50 at once. They'll be the ones laughing at you instead. And for that, they just gotta die. Taunting bastards. Stalkers. Helldive tier. As a citizen of the Federation, you've probably seen the AI-generated knockoffs of the movie Predator. And yes, stalkers are that bad. They go invisible, take a ton of damage, and ambush you with enough damage to instantly shred through any defense. Worst yet, their tongue can send you back to your super destroyer without a pelican. While the Alpha Commander is launching waves and waves of effective enemies at you, the stalker is creeping up behind you and, even if you see and shoot them, jumping away and waiting for that moment when your guard is down once more to try again. Can you learn to deal with them effectively? Yes, but they'll still make you shit your pants every once in a while. Hellspawn of the highest caliber, I can't wait for these things to only exist in my nightmares. Bile Titans. I still remember my first mission to take one of these things down. Seeing a mountain coming straight for us was grounds to shit bricks and shoot like there was no tomorrow. For some of us, there wasn't. And it was because we didn't know our weapons weren't doing anything to its armor. After mag upon mag, all our grenades, and an embarrassing number of pistol shots, it was a reinforcement pod that took it down to uproarious celebration. Today, however, I popped them in the head once with a sizable explosion and I'm done. If it wasn't for its size, it would present about as much threat as a biospear, and it's been memed to death in the super forums. Unfortunately for all of us, these things can come in packs, and then no one is posting anything. My leg tier for sure. Impalers. You ever seen Tremors? Why do I ask? Of course you haven't. The Federation is bereft of inspiration, but the Impaler is endowed with evisceration. If you get jump scared by a bunch of tentacles, look for a nearby lumbering oaf. The bad thing about these bugs is that they don't need to see you to attack you, and could be behind several layers of rock and building. Additionally, they have to deploy their tentacles to be effectively attacked due to the absurd armor they are encased with. The good thing is that when that happens, they take a little more than what a charger requires to eliminate. My leg has never felt more in danger. Now, Diver, you may occasionally come to a planet with different mutations and strains of the Terminid scourge. The bile mutation, chargers and warriors may still have bile pustules from time to time, but while they can slow you down, it's just a minor inconvenience. An enemy of democracy to be sure, but an inconvenience. The Terminids of the Gloom are a different story, however. You need specialized filters to even get close to these guys, and when you do, those filters aren't going to be of much use against the toxic toxin they explode into upon death. Absolutely frightening appearance too. My leg hates these guys. The first time I encountered the Predator strain, I barely survived and then cried in a closet for 2 weeks. I had to be lured out with a copy of V for Vendetta on Blu-ray. Take all the terrible things about hunters and give them the stalker's cloak and an acid spit, remove the stalker's camo but make them hyper-aggressive and numerous. This goes into Helldive tier, but remove the dive part because I ain't diving into this hell. Now onto the Automaton front. Unlike the walking oil barrels, these bastards run on the blood of humanity's fallen. An army of armor, ranged weapons, and insatiable cruelty. I have only ever met one member of the collective that I liked, and she was a total baddie who made me see that at one point Cyberstan wasn't so different from Rogue 5. Unfortunately, this fact does not stop us from killing each other horribly. Starting with the standard trooper, these things are so pitiable. I could stand in front of them all day and watch them be unable to hit me. The stray shots that do land won't usually cause much of concern either. However, occasionally they can rub their ones and zeros together and produce a grenade, and are rather inconvenient in numbers. So they get to be above the scav in deadliness. Yes, sample farming tier. Same with the Marauder, because it's the same thing, just with more drip. The Rocket Raiders, on the other hand, are far more dangerous. Despite still being infantry and being able to die stubbing their toes, they still have a rocket launcher, and it is to be respected. I cannot count the times I have rounded the corner and seen a barrel pointed at my face. In such situations, you must channel your inner Clint Eastwood and be quick on the draw, or suffer horrific death. That is, if they hit you. For some reason, they also cannot aim for the life of them, so they miss being enemies of freedom and accidentally end up in a tier where they just gotta die. The Commissar is paradoxically indecisive, choosing both a melee weapon and a ranged weapon. Frankly, commit to something, you clanker. Sample farming tier. Scout Striders, or Chicken Walkers, have a powerful gun that can shred most divers and the armor to stop a good amount of weaponry. Unfortunately, they have no armor on their back and have the turn speed of your mother after 5 boxes of donuts, so they just gotta die. Their reinforced cousins, however, are a total nightmare to deal with. Instead of just circling around and putting a single shot into the infantry piloting the thing, you have to shoot the excessively explosive rockets on the side of its head. Rockets that can come at you from anywhere and ruin your day. Combine this with their high numbers and you've got to be a whack-a-mole expert or get clobbered. I'll let you in on a little secret though. Grab a medium pen weapon and shoot them in the balls. I'm not kidding. Obliterate their testicles and they go down very quickly. My leg tier. The Brawler fits a very specific niche in the Automaton army by rushing you down and forcing you out of cover if not dealt with. Cover, when it comes to being shot at, is very important. Combine this with their numbers and damage, and they just gotta die. Raiders decided to put more Daka in their weapons, firing a ridiculous number of shots every salvo. This comes with a power pack that can be detonated when shot and possibly kill you. Unfortunately, it suffers from the same accuracy issues as the rest of the automatons, so it amounts to a crazy light show and a frankly therapeutic explosion. In short, it's just gotta die, is what I would say if this thing didn't sometimes decide to inexplicably hit all its shots at a whim and decimate divers with ease. Freedom's enemy tier. It's time for the Devastators, starting with the default one. With this first one, we have a pretty funny case of bulk over substance. This guy is an infantry who got to put on a few pounds, not realizing that Helldivers can just shoot its head instead of its body. It also lost the ability to call in bot drops and didn't gain any new weapons from a common trooper. I guess it punches good? Sample farming tier. The Rocket Devastator can take its salvo of 10,000 ragdoll rockets and fuck right off. Freedom's enemy tier. The Chain Gunner, however, makes me fuck right off. Take the principle of a raider and give it a minigun instead. It doesn't matter how inaccurate the bots are, some of these shots will hit you, if not all of them. So unless you're quick to pop their heads or shoot the gun, you'll be pushed into cover in no time. On top of that, their shield is actually really good at doing its job. Get a group of them together and I'd rather just eagle strike them than show my face. My leg tier. Chainsaw Man over here is raw, concentrated intimidation, and fortunately for all of us, just as smart as Denji is. And you don't understand that reference. Sweet liberty, someone help me. Okay, so stay away from these chainsaws or you die. Shoot the weak points and you live. Just like the Brawlers, these guys are here to push you out of cover and they're much better at it. Freedom's enemy tier. As a general rule, you don't want to get close to a Hulk. but you really don't want to get close to a Hulk Scorcher. If you do, you'll get put on the grill, roasted to a fine medium rare, sprinkled with salt, and served diced to the cyborgs of Cyberstan. Luckily, they have no range, and you're bringing anti-tank, so keep your distance and you're probably fine. Being as these guys are the poster children for the Hulks, they've cemented themselves as freedom's enemy. The Hulk Obliterator shoots rockets at you and is frankly just a less potent but more tanky version of the Rocket Devastator, and as such, it also gets no screen time, Freedom's enemy tier. The Hulk Bruiser is the Hulk everyone's looking out for. Rapid fire rockets, machine gun fire, and tanky as can be. Put 5 of these things around an objective and they'll have the whole squad rethinking their life choices, until they remember they brought an orbital barrage. Still, one of the most quintessential threats on the bot front, and most deadly Hulk they've ever produced. My leg tier. Just to take my mind off of the Hulk-related trauma I've accumulated throughout the years, I'm going to talk about the silly little scout, the gunship. These things are a joke in combat. Supposedly, their rockets can kill you, but they're fired while moving, and we've already dunked on the automatons for not being able to hit the broadside of a barn. The plasma shots are even worse. So bad, in fact, I don't think I've ever been hit by one. It's like you've handed a man a rifle, blindfolded him, spun him around, and then said, "Okay, hit that target 50 meters away." No, I'm not telling you the direction. They're not even that hard to shoot down, but they still overstimulate my eyes with that spotlight of theirs, and the gunship can't stop being a loud as hell snitch about where I'm hiding. And for that, it's just gotta die. This is a tank. It does tank things. If you shoot it with anti-tank weapons, it gasps and explodes because you had the audacity to use anti-tank weapons on a tank. Arguably, this thing is the embodiment of what the bot front is all about. Keep your wits about you, stay in cover, and you're fine. Don't, and you get shot in the next week. This is one of Freedom's staunchest enemies. The Shredder tank shreds with 4 massive turrets that rarely stop firing. You know those accuracy problems I've been talking about? Barely present here. If this thing starts shooting you, assume showing yourself equals death. Its turn speed is incredibly fast too, making it the #1 target on any battlefield it shows up on. This dealer of death is going straight into Helldive. The Barrager tank. Okay, sample farming tier. This tank is lazy. It hasn't touched grass in ages, needs to move out, and fears job applications. I generally consider myself an all-rounder, but if I had to classify the front I drop the most at, then I'm a bot diver, and my only notable memory of these things is walking up to one out of curiosity to see if it actually did indeed do things. It launched a rocket and missed a point-blank shot, instead blowing up its allies. That's it. That's all I've ever encountered from these things. Forget sample farming, I could run a whole ranch with this thing in the background. It'd fire a barrage into a group of cattle and still not do a thing. That being said, the automaton should waste way more resources making more of these because the logistical nightmare these must be causing is palpable. Factory Striders? Bad dog. Helldive tier. This is literally a walking heavy armored building on legs with instant kill machine guns mounted on the front and a giant cannon that can see you for miles mounted on its back. Unless you're a really good shot with anti-tank or have orbital stratagems, good luck. Some variants even have jammers, the raspberry kind. And we all know these clankers are the only ones who would dare give us the raspberry. It's because they think they can get away with it. Bastards. The lot of them. Okay, so that wraps up the... What? Fortress turrets? You can't make me talk about that. I won't. I hate them. They don't get on the list. Screw those camouflaged rapid-fire motherfuckers. Oh boy, we get to talk about the squids. Let's take a trip down Flavor Town and get this started. The Overseer. This squid brought a weapon of fear, and I brought a weapon of war. My soy sauce. Bake this thing slowly with a flamethrower, let it sit to get those fumes out, chuck it on a spit roast for extra outside crisp. After marinating it in soy sauce, and you've got yourself the peak of alien culinary potential. I would, and often do, dive into hell just for a taste of this. And the same goes for Crescent Overseers. Because they carry that big gun everywhere, go for the back muscles. Sweet liberty, they should be a delicacy everywhere. It's like a soft octopus, but the size of a large steak. Simply divine. Ah, the Watcher. Here we have the delivery boy. It sees that you're lonely, summons food, and then gets blown up. I can't eat it, but honestly, the side effect of its existence is alright. I mean, how is a man to eat without the staff, am I right? Freedom's enemy tier. Harvester? I never knew her. And it isn't food, so we can go harvest some samples. The stingray might be named after something edible and turn the ground into Baja Blast, but again, I can't eat that. Sample farming tier. The warp ship. If the water is the delivery boy, then the warp ship is the restaurant. Freedom's enemy tier for getting me the good stuff. Oh, the overship. It's a buffet, all you can eat, get your squid here, divers. That being said, it only contains the food and doesn't do delivery, so we'll put it in just gotta die. Leviathans. Can't eat it, don't want near it, it's a bully and I hate it. Hell, it even swims through the air like an edible sea creature. Like it knows I'm hungry and it's rubbing it in. Sample farming tier. Okay, voteless. So, fellas, is it cannibalism to eat the voteless? Now hear me out, okay? Listen, they've undergone a lot of genetic modification, right? And they're like, I see your expression, hear me out. And they're like, transforming into a squid, right? That means they're transforming into food. Again, hear me out. If the transformation goes far enough, we're not eating humans. I mean, stage 3 has that Illuminate third eye, right? I mean, sure, they're clearly conscious and salute you on death and show signs of trying to regain control, but, like, I don't eat alive food, you know? You know? The Helldive tier. Moving on. Helldive. Alright, divers, it's time to talk about our 4th faction. What? You thought there were only 3 factions? Well, the Federation counts as an enemy of humanity. Wake up and smell the tyranny, loyalists, because we're ranking all of you. Ah, to be a cadet again. Eyes full of stars and more often than not woefully under-equipped for the situations Super Earth needs them to deal with. My sympathies lay with them, and may they find their way to salvation. Sample farming tier for not knowing how armor pen works. That being said, the Helldivers themselves are a formidable threat, the poster child of the Federation and the source of much propaganda. They have access to any gun, weapon, stratagem, and possess instant transportation to the battlefield. They land themselves solidly in the Freedom's enemy tier because I know that's going to give every single member of the Federation conniptions, and I'm going to giggle about it later while taking a shower. The Ministry of Truth is a menace of the highest caliber. The people that cage you, force you to read drivel, then force you to never read again. The source of tyranny unto the soul. I would suffer 1,000 deaths to destroy this vile den of sickening villains. Each truth enforcer is so far up his own ass he thinks the smell is a sign of true liberty. He retires to the bedchambers to manage his democracy to said smell. Helldiver tier, I'm going to kill every single one of you bastards. Okay, if you're a citizen of the Federation, know that you're amazing and we love you. Click off the video now, please. Okay, now that they're gone, what happened to these people? They have no fear response. I saw one try to give an overseer a hug and run straight into a field of fire. I was trying to save them, and it felt worse than hurting cats. The attack on Super Earth was a mess, man. Couldn't even spread my squid steak recipe because they didn't know how to read. Sample farming tier. I fear for our future. Okay, you all know where the Seaf are going. I mean, they can barely shoot things, their grenades blow up themselves more than the enemy. I even saw one shoot a wall with an expendable anti-tank once, at point blank. So it's with a heavy heart that I must put these wonderful people in Helldive tier. Yeah, that's right, gotcha. As if I would ever rank them lower. These men and women may not be the best or brightest, but we fight for them. The future, the shining light of our conflict. Those who would take far less into the battlefield, look at a Bile Titan and say, bet my heart for Seaf Chan. Did I say that out loud? Know this. I work in the propaganda field, and I must respect Miss Kelly's work. She is a rival, in a way, though I doubt she knows it. But, Coretta, if you're listening, I'm the one who switched out the milk in your fridge to be spoiled. I'm the one who sabotaged your dating app preferences to only show you creepazoids. I'm the one who kept calling your credit holder and reporting accidents to ruin your credit score. I'm the one who ate your Liberty Day candy. Why? Because you're an enemy of freedom. Brash. This damn general. There was a time when I was a green propagandist that I would have said there's no way the general has survived all this time. And perhaps I was right. But the damage has been done. General Brash, alive or not, has created a myth so incredibly dense and inspiring that I fear I shall never overcome it. When he does a push-up, the planet is pushed down. When he throws a grenade, it kills a platoon of enemies and then explodes. When he is met with death, death backs down. This is the myth of General Brash. Know it well, or die trying. And that concludes my list. Did I miss something? Yeah, probably, but I don't really care. Didn't like my list? Too bad, I'm doing another one. You have a nice rest of your day, and remember, vera libertas.